Hey everyone, Sheldon here, and welcome to a new video about an old project. So, you guys probably remember this. This is the paper single-shot pistol, and I did some things to it recently to make it work a lot better, and basically it just makes a lot more sense too. So you can see, if you look at the top, it's really yellow because over time, the super glue and baking soda turns yellow. I've talked about this before on this channel, but you can see the areas like that. And this side was like that too, and this side. So I put a nice clean layer over it and used a new polishing method that I found out recently, and it works really nicely. So the first thing I did was put this little sheet metal piece on the grip. So it's secured in place with some screws, and this is what works as the trigger spring. So if I zoom in a little bit here, you can see it's just pushing on the back portion of the trigger, and you can push this all the way. It doesn't slip off or anything, which is nice. The old trigger spring worked okay, but it wasn't perfect. You know, it was in there pushing on the top portion of the trigger, and if you pulled the trigger too hard, it would just slip off and then it wouldn't work anymore. So that was a pretty good improvement. And you can also see this back portion of the hammer has a hole in it with a pin going down through it. So instead of having that little piece that I had to try to hook a rubber band to, you know, this works a lot better, and the pin just comes out of the top right there. So I'm using an actual extension spring for this now, so it works really nicely. So I'm just gonna take this side plate off now so you can see the internals. Hasn't really changed that much, but it definitely makes a lot more sense, and I'll show you more what I did to the hammer too, because you can't really see it yet. So I just have this tiny screwdriver here and these really small screws. I actually didn't think they were going to be that small, but they still work nicely. You can see I filled up where the old hole was because the hole wasn't completely perpendicular. You can't really do that easily without a drill press. So I'm just going to take this out. Alright, so just going to move these out of the way. You don't ever want to drop those because you'll never find them again. I'm just going to take this side plate off, just like that. You can see where the other hole used to be. Filled that up with JB Weld. So, I mean, it doesn't really matter that that's there because, you know, it's not like a part that goes under stress or anything. It's just a big block of paper right here. Alright, so here's the mechanism inside. You can see where the trigger spring contacts the trigger, just like that. That's how that works. And you can see the extension spring is going around that little post in there and going forward to this post in the front, which has a little small band of paper on the top of it so it doesn't slip off, but you're still able to get it off over the top of it. So here's how it works. Hammer goes back, trigger goes in that little notch right there, pull the trigger, hammer drops. So very simple. So I don't know if you guys remember or not, but the upper portion of the hammer used to have a little step piece that would go up like that, and I cut that off, so now from here going up is just a straight line. It used to just kind of go like this and then out and then like that, and it was like that because the old cartridges were flush with this surface right here. But since I changed what I was doing by having a cartridge that actually has a rim, I needed to cut it off somewhere on the hammer so it would be able to stop and still be basically perpendicular with this axis like that. So, you know, if I didn't do that, it would probably stop about right there or something, and I don't really want that. I want it to be perpendicular, like I said. So what I was doing with the old cartridge didn't really make any sense. I had this chambered to a 22 size cartridge, which, you know, it kind of made sense, but then it didn't, because those were rimfire cartridges, and I had a firing pin on this part of the hammer right there, and that was meant for like a center fire cartridge, and it just didn't make sense to have like a center fire worthy hammer and then a rimfire cartridge. So I just changed that up. This makes a lot more sense. Alright, so I'm going to take this cartridge out so you guys can see what it looks like. So the best way to get it out with this gun in particular is by using an ejection rod method. So basically, after shooting like that, you take your ejection rod or skewer and you put it in through the front. Now, really quick, what's cool about this is since the hammer is under constant spring tension like that, when you push the cartridge from this direction in, it will ramp itself up and out because of the spring tension on the hammer. So, and it usually goes forward too, so it doesn't hit you in the face. So I'm just gonna show you guys really quick. There you go. So I'm gonna have to go find that, but it's pretty cool that it works like that. I didn't actually intentionally design it like that. I mean, yeah, I did. Alright, so I'm gonna take this outside and try it out. So I'm just cutting out one of these caps right here, and just gonna put it in the cartridge. Alright, here's the cartridge, here's the cap. Basically you just put the cap on this little metal pin right here, and should be ready to fire just like that. Alright, so I'm just gonna cock the hammer back, put the cartridge in here just like that, and I need to find a projectile really quick. Alright, here's a little plastic BB. Just gonna put that in like that and fire. Wow, looks pretty good. You get the ejection rod. So let's see. Oh yeah, there's the smoke. So yeah, that worked really well. I think the cartridge is down here somewhere. Yeah, it's right there. Let me grab it. Looks pretty good. You can see there's that little paper piece from the cap right there, but it goes through those little channels. I have no idea where the projectile went. Probably somewhere over there, but yeah, nice. Also, I figured I'd show you these old grips that I still want to use. I just need to find a good way to secure them, but you know, it looks pretty good. It feels pretty comfortable like that. So hopefully after figuring out a way to secure these, we can paint this project. So hopefully I'll do that in the next video or an upcoming one. So yeah, thanks for watching this video, you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.